Suzie Cheel, and today I'm speaking with the internationally acclaimed life coach, author and transformational speaker, and what I call the fabulous financial alchemist, Morgana Rae. Morgana has a groundbreaking program for attracting wealth, and today we're speaking particularly about the launch of her book, Financial Alchemy. Morgana's been featured alongside experts like Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, and more. Her books, CDs, magazines, and classes have impacted the lives of hundreds of people. Today, I'd like to welcome Morgana.
Thank you for having me. Now, actually, through interviews like this in magazines, my message has gone out to millions of people. So I need to update that.
You too, yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
I feel really, really privileged. And then every day I get emails with stories about how people are using the work in their own lives and the results you're getting. In fact, you were telling me a story about your friend in Scotland just before we started the interview.
Because I was doing this interview with Morgana, she sent me her book, Financial Alchemy, which I received about 10 days ago, I think. When I got it, I was sharing this with my friend Heather in Scotland. And she decided that it sounded so exciting, and the fact that I was also interviewing you, that it was very exciting. So she decided to order it. So what we're doing is we're going to work through this workbook together, but she was wondering, I wonder if anything's actually happening. And what she told me last week, she was so excited. She heard from a client that she hadn't heard from for 10 years and wanted to know if he was having a life change in his life again, and he would like to work with her as a coach. So that in itself we thought was very exciting.
Yay!
So Morgana, I imagine that the people who are watching today would like to know just briefly how you came to be a financial alchemist and how you developed this program. What brought you to this, I suppose, your life purpose?
Well, it's funny because what brought me on this journey is that I was really good at other stuff, like helping people and even marketing, all that kind of stuff. The thing that I was not able to do 10 years ago was make money. And it didn't matter what I did. I had these crazy, wonderful testimonials from clients. I was coaching entertainment industry professionals, and I had this magic touch where actors and writers and directors without credits in a couple of weeks would be getting TV series and selling their films and crazy stuff like that. And I was getting this wonderful reputation, and people wanted to work with me. And it's like I had this magical superhuman ability to repel money. I had the fancy Ivy League education behind me. I had the expensive coaching certification that took me over a year to accomplish. And it seemed everything on the service side, the website, the marketing materials. I had the most beautiful vision board in the world. So what? At the worst point, with all this supporting me, I was making $100 a month. There was really no logical reason for it, except there was something inside of me that really, truly could not be with money. And it wasn't anything I was consciously aware of. And I did everything I was told, and I had great coaches, and I was taking every class in the world on inner mindset and marketing and sales and blah, blah, blah. And nothing worked. And it was devastating, and nobody knew what was wrong. And it was because I failed at everybody else's program that I needed another solution. And what worked for me when nothing else worked was uncovering my own unique relationship with money. And when I say relationship with money, money as if money were a person. A lot of great teachers talk about relationship with money, but they're talking about money as an abstract concept, an idea like energy or an exchange of value, or Deepak Chopra calls it a divine field of abundance.
Yeah.
All of which may be true, and it didn't help me at all. I had to imagine if my money were a person, who would my money be? And as soon as I asked myself that question, instantly I had this vision of this big, scary, dirty, violent biker who caused fights at parties. And I could feel how I reacted to him, as if I were at an event with him, I would have my eye on him the whole time to create maximum distance. And that was the moment that it all made sense, that it didn't matter what I did. I had such a strong unconscious survival need to create distance from the biker that I knew that if this biker was my money, there was no way I would ever change my situation. And I could never see any of that until I saw money as a person. And that was when the relationship made sense. So I needed to break up with the biker, get rid of him completely, feel what it was like to be free of that relationship for the first time in my life and how frightening it had been. And then that created a new problem, which was, oh, I just got rid of the only relationship with money I had. And so I knew that I needed to replace the biker really quickly, because if I just had this vacuum, the monster would come back. So I thought to myself, well, who would I want to have in my life so much that I would want to be with this person even though it's money? Because money used to be the scary monster. So I wasn't in a hurry to get back into that relationship. So I thought, well, who would I want in my life so much? And then popped into my imagination this tall, dark, handsome, romantic man who was in love with me and wanted to woo me. And he was dressed in a tuxedo and a bouquet of red flowers. And I had this really, it was so real. And I had this really shocking awareness of how much he loved me, how he had been waiting for me for years and years, that I'd been pushing him away, how much he wanted to be with me, and how it was in my power, that it was up to me to make it possible for him to be with me, that I'd been pushing him away. And so I asked him what he needed from me to be with me, which is a question I've never heard any in Law of Attraction. I didn't tell him what to do for me. I was like, I loved him because of him. Not because he was cash, not because of what he could do for me, but because he was so handsome and romantic and loving and in love with me. And I was just swept off my feet. And I asked him what he needed from me. And there's something very important here about it being a love relationship. What I didn't know at the time, what I discovered over developing this over years and coaching thousands of people, was that this kind of romantic relationship is the most money magnetic, bar none. We're talking in August, Caroline Conant, $86,000 overnight. You know, we're talking real cash. Jerry Grahalis, 6 figures, stuff like that. I have the power to break my money's heart. We're equals. He's not some superhuman power who's just going to save me from myself, because that doesn't evolve me or evolve the world. So it's a partnership. And I really can break his heart, which gives me a lot of power in the relationship. So I asked him what he needed from me, and he told me. And that's the other great thing about money being a person. He told me what he needed from me, and I did what he told me to do. And the next day I had 4 new clients paying me twice what I'd ever dared charge before. And it just kept coming and coming and coming. And where I used to make $100 a month, now I can make $100,000 in a month without really trying. And it's changed my life in other ways, you know, in other relationships, in every area, because I don't have the monster excuse getting in the way of what I want to do in the world, who I want to be, what I want to have. I don't say I can't afford it and blame money anymore.
So the other thing, Morgana, is you've probably also lost the fear the fear of not having the money or the fear of not attracting clients and things like that?
Well, I'm going to be really, really honest, because I'm a human being, and I want to be really clear that you don't have to be perfect to make this work. Sometimes when I'm growing, like when my money says it's time for me to raise my rates, and I'll go, oh no, money, I can never do that. No, nobody will ever afford me. I've been doing this conversation for 10 years now. And there are times where I'm investing in myself, where I've got a growing pain and I don't believe it yet, where I can get anxious. Now, the crazy thing is a bad month for me now is better than a good year for me used to be.
Right.
And
that is wonderful.
Yeah, and if you're on the side where you haven't made big money yet, because I've coached people who have not made big money yet, and I've also coached people who have made hundreds of millions of dollars. Even people who have made hundreds of millions of dollars have anxiety. They fear they're going to lose it. They have many of the same issues because it's human. Now when I'm anxious, because I'm a human being, and you have permission to be a human being, I can say to my money, honey, that's what I call him. He looks like Clive Owen. I can say, I'm feeling anxious. What do you want me to do so I can feel less anxious? Or I can say something, if I'm trying something new and I'm just not getting the results I want and I'm getting frustrated and anxious because I'm a human being, I can say to my money, okay, what do you want me to learn here so I can get over this challenge? The goal here is not to be perfect. If I come up with that secret, I will call you immediately, Suzie.
Wonderful.
The goal here is how do we have a better experience as human beings? How do we get rid of the obstacles so we don't have to protect ourselves from money? And how do we evolve? How do we make more money by putting love first?
So, as you've been talking, I do a lot of work with listening and getting people to listen to their heart whispers. And I realise that, so your money honey, because I've struggled a bit with the money honey, Heather and I have struggled a bit with this, but what I actually now understand listening to you, your money honey is your inner guidance, really guiding you as well. And it's another way of looking at your money and also learning to trust yourself as well. Yeah. Would you say?
There's something about, we pretend it's outside of ourselves for a few reasons. And I just sort of did this process without knowing what was happening. And now I understand it. Even though I invented it, it took me years to really figure out what was going on and why it works. And first we make the monster, who also encompasses all of the negative things you say about yourself. We make that external. So even the negative things you say about yourself, we put it outside of you so that you can get rid of it. Because we aren't trying to get rid of you. We're just trying to get rid of all that hate, all the voices from a lifetime that have said you're not worth it, you're not good enough, you're not lovable, you don't deserve it, you can't have it. It's like death. And we want to get rid of it. And we make it separate. We don't even make it your shadow. We don't want to reintegrate it. We want to obliterate it. And then your money honey is on the outside of you because it's easier sometimes for us to see how beautiful we are when we are seeing ourselves through the eyes of the other. Yeah. Think about what it's like when you're in love and you're loved back. Yes. We women, we become so freaking radiant. It's like the universe has no defense. Men talk about standing taller, and feeling like heroes. And it just brings out our best, and it heals the real stuff. Because the work I do about money has nothing to do with money, really. It's what money represents around
it's about healing inside. Is that right?
Love. Yeah, safety. And so not only do my clients and customers report making money, but they also share stories about their marriages fall back in love. And if they're single, they attract their soulmate. This year, we just had New Year's. This is the first, I'm in the best relationship I've ever been. I'm like
Yes,
over the moon
I've read
in
about
love.
it on Facebook.
In my family, my friends dig this guy. And what I did for New Year's is my boyfriend and I opened our books and we did the work together of setting our themes, our intention, our goals, and all of this was completely new to him. He's never done anything like this before. And it's really intimate to share the journey with somebody.
That is good.
Thank you.
Yeah, so what I heard then was, it's not about money, so it's about love. And we all have that journey to make inward to love ourselves.
Yeah.
And so much of that stops us when we don't have that inner love. It stops us from shining, from being who we truly are here to be.
From being able to receive love from somebody else, from being able to receive money and feel like we deserve it and feel like our contribution is worth it. It just changes the way we show up. And I know for myself that somebody can tell me that I should love myself more, and they're totally right. But what happens is they'll be like, oh, another thing I'm doing wrong.
Haven't I done enough of this?
Yes.
So much
oh,
work.
another thing wrong with me. Now I don't love myself enough. So now loving myself has to go on the to-do list, and it's another one of my failures. And I did, so instead, what I have people do is I say, look at yourself see yourself the way your money honey sees you. Because by definition, he is the opposite of your monster. Your monster hates you and thinks you're nothing and just wants to destroy you. Your money honey, by definition, and it's in my book, by definition, loves you more than anybody in the world, is in love with you. And you know it and you feel the difference. And by the way, Suzie, if you're having a little bit of trouble with the money honey, go back and get rid of your monster again.
I did that last night. Do you want to know who appeared as my monster?
Yeah.
The devil with a fork.
That would be a good monster.
And what I realized was, and I said this to my the love of my life, Des, I said, I don't think I've actually got rid of the monster. So what I did was I went and had a bath, and I have your recording on my phone, and I put it there and went back. Yeah, so the monster, I was staggered. The monster was this black devil. So now I feel right. I was able to get rid of that, and I actually understand more. And I suppose the image that I'm getting from my money honey, and this will be interesting, a question that I've been asked by somebody else and whatever else, is when I first did this, I sort of saw like an angel or something like that. And I know that's not right. We'll come back to that. And then I probably thought of something like Oprah or whatever else. But then when I went into more of a meditation about doing it, initially I thought, maybe it's an Adonis or something like that. But what came up for me was somebody like Robert Redford, the actor. The good, blonde, tall.
You're getting closer and closer. Yeah. Oprah, very popular, not right for this because Oprah doesn't really need you and she's not in love with you.
No.
And she's not like a real person to us. She's more like a god, because we don't have a real intimate one-on-one relationship with her. That's why also we don't want it to be an angel because there's this distance.
Right.
And you're not really equals. So, and you can just keep doing the process and you will become more and more intimate with your money honey. Some people don't get there the first time. And that's okay. And even people, my money honey today is not my money honey 10 years ago. I needed to start over completely in 2008 when the market crashed and I saw all these horror stories around me. There was so much pain I could not trust my money anymore. I just was so angry and upset at what I saw going around me that it was like the world's monster polluted my relationship with money. And I had to start all over again. And I had a different money monster. And then who showed up was Clive Owen. It was like he crawled up in a white button-down shirt and blue jeans and crawled up onto the bed next to me. And it was like, whoa. And it felt so intimate.
Right.
And it was like I had a more mature money honey. So the goal here is the more real he feels. He doesn't even have to be idealized. I love stories of, well, he's, not usually my type when somebody is describing her money honey. That's not usually my type, but he's really hot. And I love that because it means you're not in your head.
Right.
There's the story in the book that I share about Lynn Swanson, whose money honey insisted on wearing the white suit from Saturday Night Fever, and she kept trying to imagine him in something else, and he just wanted to wear the suit. And I knew as soon as she told me that she got it, that this relationship was so real. He had a personality and a sense of humor of his own. And the funniest thing is, he told her what he wanted her to do, and she did it the next day, even though it made no sense. She had this huge debt, all this anxiety, and she did what he told her to do, which was transfer money from one account to another. Wasn't going to solve her problem at all, but she did it. And then on the way back to the office, she was picking up some coffee for one of her employees, and she was checking her smartphone. And a client that they had invoiced that day, who wasn't due to pay for another 45 days, was wiring this large, tens of thousands of dollars payment that very day, which was going to pay all the money she owed and cover the payroll. And she looked at the timestamp between the bank deposit slip and the email from the client, and it was a 2-minute difference.
Wow. That is just amazing.
Yeah.
So it's about, yes, because I know at the moment I have quite a lot of clutter. And so was talking to, what I'm seeing at the moment is my money honey. And I was interested that you said that maybe I'm getting close, but maybe not quite there yet. But one of the things was, yes, clean up, is to clear out. And that's what I've written in here is my thing for this week and for this quarter is to, really get clear of incompletions, clutter, let go of all of that so I can move forward.
Beautiful. And I wanted to design a book that would make getting what you want really easy. So I wanted to not add to anybody's to-do list. So like every week we have the priorities and you don't get a lot of them, And for 3 months, the first quarter of the year, the focus, the skill that I want you to master is just making space. Getting rid of anything that isn't what you really want. Because even little things like a messy room can suck so much energy and so much self-esteem. It just makes us feel bad, and it's ridiculous how just cleaning a room, and I'm actually saying that because I'm in my guest bedroom, which was the junk room 2 days ago.
Oh, really?
And now it's my favorite room in the house, and I'm kind of giddy about it. It raises our self-esteem. It raises our living standard. It doesn't even cost anything.
That's right.
And clearing
and it
clutter,
can benefit other people because we're going to be giving things away. Yeah.
Well, that's one of my favorite games, is getting rid of stuff. And what I love to do, and I'm ready to do it again, is go through my stuff, and the stuff that isn't right for me anymore, I give away. And nothing makes me feel wealthier than being able to say that I have so much more than I need, that I can afford to get rid of nice stuff. And I love to give away nice stuff. I've got these really phenomenal charities in my neighborhood, and with the stuff that's been going on with Sandy in New York and the United States and all that, it feels really good to give away stuff. So I love to get rid of stuff, and then my other favorite game is getting stuff. But first, you have to make space for new stuff.
For new stuff as well.
Right.
That's wonderful. So I feel that that's one of my large things. One of the things I can see in the journal that I can see people might have a challenge with is every day you ask people to come up with 5 things they're actually successful for. Do you find some people are challenged by that?
I've never heard that.
Right.
I can say for myself that the reason I put that there is because studies have shown that the human brain holds on to negative stuff.
Yes.
Which really sucks. And we have virtual amnesia regarding the good stuff. You could cure cancer at 4 o'clock and then completely forget it by after dinner. So I find for myself, come the end of the evening, I may not remember what I did that day. And by the time I get to the third one, then I'm on a roll. And then my pages get really messy. So, because I'm, this is what it looks like. And I start adding number 6 and 7 and 8 and all this stuff in the...
Okay.
Yeah. Don't look close enough that you can actually read it, because that's private. But, once you get on a roll, then you just keep adding stuff.
So, Morgana, you do this every year? You use your
I
own
do
book?
this. Well, I do. Yeah. I do this. I put together the stuff that I've been doing for myself, and how I've achieved my most unlikely goals was when I started following this system. This is the stuff that I coached my premium private clients, and it's also what I do for myself. This is how I manifest all the goals that I set for myself every year.
So I think that's wonderful. So all of us out there working with this know that you're out there using it as well, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, some of the questions I imagine that you get asked occasionally is, say somebody's in a lot of debt, and they're going to say to you, so how will this help me get out of debt?
When you're in the grips of your monster, you can't see what's available to you. A dear friend of mine, one of my mentors, who is now like a confidant and a friend and a colleague, and he's actually going to be interviewed by me the first day of my 3-day telesummit on Money Day, Christopher Howard, Bob Doyle from The Secret, who was in my house last night for my birthday party, and Noah St. John, best-selling author. Those are my 3 guests for the Money Day on January 15th. And the reason I bring up Chris is because he said something in 2012 that rocked my world. And he said that the problem is not a lack of resources. Our problem is a lack of resourcefulness.
Wow, yeah.
Debt happens. Donald Trump has been bankrupt how many times?
That's right.
When you get rid of the monster and you have a different relationship with money, with your money honey, it's like you can sit side by side and look at your situation and find opportunities. I've worked with tons of people who had mountains of debt who turned it around. Anne Rusnick is, I think she's in the book, and it talks about how even though she had all this debt, when we changed her relationship with money, and I coached her directly, and the first thing her money honey wanted her to do was get rid of all the boxes in her garage. In her relationship with her money honey, her money honey told her to shut down her business. And she took a year off to figure out what to do with her life. And somehow between she and her husband, money just kept coming in, and they paid off their debts. And then more dramatically, Tanya Jagar, within 3 hours of doing the exercise, received the money to pay off all of her debts. And I do not promise that, because how could I? How could I know what's going to happen for you? But what I can promise is if you have a different relationship with money where you are no longer afraid and you can take a look at your situation, the whole point is to empower you to be resourceful and to see what options are available for you, because dollar amounts go up and down.
Yes.
But your relationship with money is for the rest of your life. So you want to make it a good one that doesn't scare you, where you can be motivated to be more creative and more resourceful and invent new stuff. That's what Richard Branson does when he had no money and he wanted to go on a trip with his wife and they didn't have any money to fly home from this tropical island. He came across a bunch of other travelers who were stranded, and he just thought and drew on a piece of paper Virgin Airlines, and he chartered a plane, and he got everybody else to pay for the plane.
There you go.
Genius.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one of the questions I shared on Facebook wall that I was interviewing you today, and did anybody have a question? You have a question that says how do I make quick cash now? But what somebody asked here is, what is the fastest money attraction tool, you would say?
Well, I would say change your relationship with money and then ask your money honey what he wants you to do. And do it.
So one of the things that people will get, both from buying your book when it's launched, they'll be actually given a system. I can be very good at planning, but somehow I allow it to, dull my brain and things like that, and it can stop me. But with this, I have found, I think I've really enjoyed the finding the money honey and doing that exercise. And the other exercise that when people buy the book, there's a bonus, and it's a audio download where Morgana's walks through. You can help yourself find your own money monster and then your money honey. But then you take people through an exercise, which I found that has also been very helpful. So besides when people get the book, they're going to get an audio as well.
Yeah, and I actually until I published this book, I was selling that audio for $30. So it is really a $30 audio that I've taken off of my website and I give to you for free with my $40 book. It's $40 in United States money. It's different in Canada and Australia and, all these other countries. But roughly comes out to be the same amount of money. So yeah, some people learn visually. I tend to be visual, but other people learn auditory. And then that particular exercise is a rather hypnotic exercise, so it really needs to be done vocally. And because I really want to give people the tools to make this work for you. In terms of the planning, I tend to be a very in-time, in-the-moment kind of person, and you know what that means because you studied with Chris.
Yeah.
So planning can be very painful for me. So
I understand exactly, yeah.
So I designed it to be easy for people either way, the good planners and the not-so-good planners, to kind of, when we set the goal for the year, even that is a very intuitive process.
I think that's very important that people understand that. I've just done like a word for the year, and I kept choosing focus. And last week we were walking on the beach, and Des stopped me, and he said, "You're in your head, not in your heart." And I've written a blog post on it, and it's been helpful to other people. But my word then came up as being abundance. That's what just came from here. But in here, for my theme, I have to shine, to be bold. It's like sort of playing a bigger game, I suppose.
That's one of the be bold, play a bigger game. Was one of the best themes I had. The year that I played a bigger game, the universe responded by giving me opportunities to play a bigger game. So it's a great theme to have. Abundance is another good one. Use the one that will give you the most juice for your evolution.
I thought I needed focus because I haven't been very focused, but that was just going to stop me.
Focus is not sexy. It's just not, ooh, focus, yay, fun. It's just not. It's coming from that sort of money monster, bad Suzie, you aren't good enough, you should be more focused. And that's totally not the direction that I want to steer you.
Yeah, that's right. Now, people are going to be, after they've watched this, going to be looking for ways that, if it's something that resonates for them, what would you suggest for people would be their next step?
Well, please go to my website, morganarae.com. MORGAN as in Nancy ARAE.com. And click on the book launch button there to get information about the book, and also all the guest teachers, including you, who are generously donating awesome stuff. Like my very first coach, Barbara Schiffman, who was at my birthday party last night, is donating something, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. So these are really the world's best teachers giving away stuff because we want people to buy my book on January 23. That's January 24 in Australia. So to get to see who the teachers are and the giveaways, go to the book launch. Just fill out your name. It doesn't mean you have to buy anything. You'll just get the information. And you'll also get free tickets to my 3-day Money, Love, and Magic Telesummit with Bob Doyle, Christopher Howard, Noah St. John, Cynthia Kersey, major philanthropist with the Unstoppable Foundation. She's on my Love Day, showing how you can combine money and love to save the lives of hundreds and thousands of children in Africa, and how that she was this very successful life coach, and she just went in this different direction, which I find really exciting. And
that's very exciting.
Magic Day, we have Deborah Poneman, who taught transcendental meditation to Deepak Chopra in the 70s. And Debbie Bermont, who is this combination business coach and energy healer. And then Jeffrey Van Dyke, who has coached Bill Gates and I think Warren Buffett, and like these unbelievable world leaders. And he's an alchemist, and just, I love him, a soul brother. And he's on the Magic Day. So you get free tickets to my 3-day Money, Love, and Magic Telesummit if you go to my website and click on the Book Summit button. Really want you to wait to buy the book until January 23. It's crazy. I keep telling people to wait because I want them to get the gifts, and you only get it on January 23 because that's how I get to #1 on Amazon, and that's what I want to do because it'll be fun. And people, it's ridiculous trying to talk people out of buying my book. So I can give you something now. I've got my free 4-part video series on the home page so that you can get something now and buy the book on January 23 so you get all the free stuff, all the extra goodies, the bonuses. Yeah. And the people who buy on January 23, I don't know if we put this on the pre-launch page, but I'm going to have a month in February, a month later, I'm going to have a live group kind of coaching Q&A call, because once you have the book, if you have a question like you did today, I can help you further. So if you buy it on January 23, I'm throwing in a bonus call to help you work through the book, and it's also like one of those rare opportunities to get live access to me.
Is there anything that you would like to share before we finish today, Morgana? Besides, we know everybody is to buy this on the 23rd of January in the USA and Canada, on the 24th here in Australia and in Asia.
Right. I just want to share my experience coaching thousands of people.
Right.
And what I have seen works, and what I believe from that experience is that if you are not getting paid what you're worth, or you're having or money comes and goes, or it's been stolen from you, or you're afraid of losing it, all that kind of stuff, it's not an accident. It's not that there's something wrong with you, or that you're bad, or that you're unworthy, or any of that. It's that there's actually a very healthy part of you that is, with good intentions, protecting yourself from money. Because so much bad stuff happens in the world in the name of money. And then we build this belief system. Every time we say, I can't afford it, we make money the bad guy who gets in the way of our dreams. And of course you don't want to be with the bad guy who keeps hurting you. So it's not conscious. You can do everything right and work really, really hard and then wonder why you're not getting the results you want. So what I want for you, wherever you are, whether you've got very little money or you've got hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, because I've worked with both ends of the spectrum, is I want you to be able to use exactly where you are and not punish yourself and beat yourself up for having bad feelings, but say, great, this is going to make the process that much easier. Because if you can get in touch with what's not working for you, that makes it easier to find your monster and then get to the other side and get the results you want. So my wish for you is that wherever you are, we can make it really, really useful and the key to getting truly what you want or better in 2013.
Oh, thank you, Morgana. That is fantastic advice, and it's been an absolute delight, as well as very enlightening for me talking with you today. This has been Suzie Cheel from SuzieCheel.com, and I've been talking with Morgana Rae from MorganaRae.com. Bye, Morgana.
Bye.